Mariska Botha, who is in Mitchell's Plain. And without a doubt there, Mariska, one of the issues relating to crime is, I guess, what many of the prospective voters will be engaging anyone, for that matter, over the next couple of weeks. Anyone who can change the situation around there will certainly get their vote.
That is probably true, very much so, Griselda, correctly. I just want to say I got a lot of calls and messages about the IEC official I spoke about earlier that spoke to myself. They, of course, can't speak on camera. But they told me they were robbed at gunpoint twice, went home, got dressed and went back to work. This didn't happen today. They are fine, they are at work, they are safe, and they are happily doing their work today, busy registering people. The incident happened a while ago. So just for clarity, this incident did not take place today. However, it is just an example of how rampant crime is and how often it happens to people, and certainly here in Mitchell's Plain as well. One of the things that have been plaguing this area for the last several years is gang-related violence, which we see almost every weekend. You hear of a number of people that have been shot and killed. So in areas like Khayelitsha, major crime happening, and in Mitchell's Plain as well. And these two areas are two of the biggest voting blocks in the Cape Town Metro. So certainly two areas that will be hotly contested by a number of political parties. We're going to speak now to a local resident who will be able to tell us more. He just came to verify his details. His name is Kenneth Smith, and we thank him very much for his time. Mr. Smith, thank you so much for your time. Why did you come and make sure that your details are correct? Why is it important for you to be able to vote?
Yeah, I came this morning, and it's very important for me to vote, to make sure that our basic needs and our basic foundation are right in our communities. And that is important, you know, that we can have a political party that meet the needs of the whole country and of our people, especially here in Mitchell's Plain.
Talk to us about the situation on the ground in Mitchell's Plain. I've heard from people telling us, from CPFs, 10 years ago Mitchell's Plain was lovely, peaceful and quiet, and now the situation has changed. Is that true for you as well?
Well, I can say that 10 years ago there were situations where, you know, where economical was growing at the time. Economical situation was growing, there was work, there was everything, there was enough for everyone, you know. But as time goes on, you know, things getting a little bit harder, you have to fight your way through. And what I can truly say about Mitchell's Plain today, about from 10 years till now, is like we need to have the basics foundation, that the social economical foundation, that where it comes in Mitchell's Plain, not only in Mitchell's Plain but all over in South Africa. You know, we see our young people on the corners, our young people who are going to school, our young people drop out of school, and that is, we need to look at that foundation. You know, if we have that foundation right set from home at home, yeah, then we believe that we will have a better Mitchell's Plain, we will have a better Lente here, and we will have a better community. Remember, idling hands is a dangerous hand. Sure. You know, it's a dangerous hand. If we can get our young people back into school and our young people back into working spaces and not sitting in our corners, then we believe we have a young people that will say, well, I know my purpose.
Very, very true. When it comes to crime, how serious is the situation in Mitchell's Plain, Lentegeur, those areas you mentioned?
Well, I believe with your, you know, with our law enforcement, you know, that is more underground, that is more visible in our communities. You know, it kinds of bring a pause, you know, into gangsterism, into violence, into many parts that hampers, you know, that hampers in our communities. You know, what I can say from Lentegeur, it's much under control, you know, as a community. You know, that is where Lentegeur comes in. It's much under control. We have your odds and we have your ends, you know, but we haven't seen a killing in Lentegeur for some time. So that is positive for me. You know, our young people come and say, listen here, I've known, I've seen, I've seen the danger. I try to step away from the danger, that gets another person killed in front of me. So that is what we're looking at, and that is what I want from Mitchell's Plain. Is to see our young people get into work, where the government comes in and assist our young people and get them to communities, get them to social workers, get them to workshops. That is important. Get our young people into workshops where, these people want to get a family, they want to get married one day, but, your basic starts with you as an individual, and say, listen here, the government is coming, the local government is coming, and that's the part I will work for, and say, listen here, young people, we've got the workshop for you. You can become a boilermaker, you can become a mechanic, you can become a whatever you want to become, a salesperson, you want to go into business. And if we have that, as a local government, I salute whatever will be done to our young people. And I can truly say, I'm staying here. I'm staying since 1982 in Mitchell's Plain. It's like, and what I can say from our community, this is a community that stands together. That stands together. And that's what I take my head off for our communities.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's
so much,
good
ma'am.
to hear. Thank you, Mr. Kenneth
Pleasure.
Smith, for your time. Good news from Mr. Kenneth Smith telling us he's a local resident here.
Yes.
They have not seen the kind of gang violence that we did see about 6 months ago for some time now. And we know, of course, that the SABC and the City of Cape Town's law enforcement are working together to deploy more people on the ground, as he said, active, visible policing, to stem the tide of violence, which we have seen gone rampant in many, many, many areas. That is also one of the things that the Cape Crime Crisis Coalition is calling for. It's an organization that is made up of a number of different groupings of community that wants to sit down in precincts with the SABC, with the city in particular, to work out safety plans for those particular areas. Because they say unless there is working relationships with the communities on the ground, there is no safety plan that will ever succeed. And as Mr. Smith rightly said, it is also socio-economical, the issues that may lure young people into the world of crime and gangsterism. And therefore, it is a multi-departmental, multi-governmental approach that should be followed to turn the tide, as he said, for not only young people, but for all people who live in areas like Lentegeur and Mitchell's Plain, so that they can prosper and live peacefully as everybody wants to, in not just here, but in the rest of the country as well.